Okay, so in a recent interview, Elon Musk made some pretty wild predictions about the future of work. But how do you get past the headline, beyond just the soundbite, to really figure out what he's saying? Today, we're going to decode that interview and show you a simple method you can use for pretty much any video you watch. Let's dive in. So it all kicks off with this. Elon Musk actually claimed that within our lifetimes, the whole idea of working for a living could become, well, a hobby. I mean, that's a truly mind-bending idea, right? But a claim like this, just thrown out there in a video, creates a real challenge if you actually want to take it seriously and analyze it. So, how do you do it? How do you take this one fleeting moment in a video and turn it into something solid, something you can actually analyze and quote with some credibility? When your source isn't a book, but just a stream of pixels, where do you even start? Well, the very first step, before we do anything else, is to capture his exact words. We need to treat this interview like a primary source, which means we have to turn his speech into text that we can actually work with. And our first tool for this job is the YouTube transcript. It's exactly what it sounds like, a literal, word-for-word record of everything that was said. This becomes our foundation. It turns spoken words into something we can search, scan, and most importantly, cite. And you know what? Getting one couldn't be easier. A ton of free tools out there follow the same basic 3-stack playbook. You copy the video's URL, you paste it into the tool, and bam, you get an instant text file. Just like that, you have a transcript ready to go. But just having the words, that's not quite enough. If we're going to treat this transcript as a serious source, we need to be able to reference it properly. This is where we make the jump from just passively watching content to actively analyzing it. And here's the really crucial part. For any analysis to be credible, you have to be able to show your work. To build a solid argument, you need to be able to point to the exact source of your information. And for digital video, that means using a specific citation format. So to do this right, we can use a standard format, something like APA 7th edition. As you can see, it captures everything you need: the person who made it, the channel, the date, the title. And look, this isn't just some fussy academic thing. It's about creating a clear, easy-to-follow breadcrumb trail right back to the original video, so anyone can check your work. So you see the pattern here, right? You start with the uploader's real name, add the channel name, the full date, italicize the title, and you're good to go. And with that, our toolkit is basically complete. It's that simple. Get the text and know how to reference it. All right, so now we have our toolkit, a full transcript, and a proper way to cite it. Let's actually apply this method. Let's get back to that interview and start decoding what Elon Musk's vision for the future really is. The first piece of hard data we can pull from our transcript is context. When he's asked about X, formerly Twitter, Musk says the platform has around 600 million monthly active users. So we're not just talking about a social media site, this is a communication system operating on a truly global scale. And the goal for it, well, it's incredibly ambitious. He doesn't frame X as just an app, but as a tool to wire all of humanity together into what he calls a collective consciousness. Okay, so what does he actually mean by that? He explains it with this really great analogy. Think about it. A single human cell is, well, simple, but trillions of them working together cooperate to become a person. He argues it's the same for us. A single human can't build a spaceship, but a group of humans, a collective consciousness, can. The goal then is to make that connection better. So that makes you wonder, right? If the goal of our online platforms shifts from just simple communication to actually building a collective intelligence, how does that change the way we collaborate, the way we innovate, maybe even the way we think? And this brings us right back to that initial shocking prediction. Musk actually lays out a timeline, suggesting that in as little as 10 to 15 years, the massive productivity gains from AI and robotics will completely break our current economic model, where work is a necessity. And he makes a really important distinction here. He's not talking about universal basic income, or UBI, which is really designed just to cover basic needs. No, he's predicting a future of what he calls universal high income, or UAI, where there's just an abundance of goods and services for everyone, not merely a safety net. So how do we get to this utopian future safely? Well, Musk proposes a framework built on 3 pillars for developing AI. He believes an advanced AI has to be programmed with a relentless pursuit of truth, an appreciation for beauty,
and a deep-seated curiosity about the universe. In his mind, this is our best shot at ensuring AI remains beneficial to humanity.
So we've used our tools to analyze Musk's specific ideas. But now let's zoom out a bit. Why does mastering these simple skills, transcription and citation, why does that actually matter in the bigger picture?
Because these aren't just academic tools. Let's be real. These are fundamental skills for navigating the modern world. In an age of deepfakes and rampant misinformation, being able to pause, transcribe, and verify what you're seeing and hearing is more important than ever.
You know, the challenge we all face is this massive gap between the sheer volume of information that's thrown at us and our ability to critically understand it. But the tools for analysis are surprisingly simple. The whole goal is to use them to build a bridge from that information overload to genuine understanding. Ultimately, it really all comes down to this. In a world of endless video streams, real power and knowledge don't come from just passively consuming. They come from active engagement, from the ability to understand, to question, and to be able to reference the source of an idea.
So let's bring this all home. We started with a pretty provocative claim about the future, and we ended up with a toolkit for critical thinking in the digital age. Think about it. In just a few minutes, we've taken a journey through a potential future of optional work and universal abundance, all pulled from a single conversation. And we did it using a clear, repeatable process that absolutely anyone can apply to any video they come across. But this leaves us with one final, kind of unsettling question. We just learned how to use tools to verify what's said in a video. But as AI gets more and more powerful, it will be able to generate not just the video content itself, but also the official transcript. In that future, how will we be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's just completely manufactured?